Hey everyone, Cheese here with a new video. This time it's covering Rise of Nations because if there's one thing you're probably able to tell from my channel, at least from the few videos I have about Age of Empires 1, it's oh boy do I like real-time strategy games. Rise of Nations, however, is a little bit different from Age of Empires. It's got like a few little of its own quirks. One of the main things is that when you go and produce a military unit, they actually come out in pairs of 3. So a single like rifleman from like a rifle soldier dude from the modern era these days would have 3 guys instead of just 1. A tank, however, has only got 1 unit. And the other thing is that resources in this game are also infinite. They never ever really run out. And on top of that, cities are not able to be destroyed when they're built. They're only able to be captured. So that's also a unique thing to look out for. What is this video actually going to be about, though? Well, if you've ever watched The Spiffing Brit on YouTube, this video is going to be along the same kind of veins as his videos, kind of a similar video, where I'm basically going to be showing off an idea that I had, that I've kind of perfected, and it is in general a really unfair way that you can go and play the game when trying to conquer the enemies in the Conquer the World mode. Before we get into the Conquer the World mode, I need to go and jump into a save game where I need to show you basically me going and me going and showing off the wonders in the game, because oh boy, some of these can get downright unfair with the abilities they give you, and I'm going to show you that right now. Let's just load the game. So here, as you can see, my citizens are busy building the Kremlin. In fact, let me just go and see. Yeah, why not? I'll build the pyramids right next to it because YOLO. So, pretty much, in this game, how it works is that wonders are really unique. You can only really have 1 per city, and they provide you with huge bonuses. Some of them are kind of feel like they're more unfair than the others. Also, in general, how they work is that once one player is building them, the other player will be unable to build the same wonder if the other player completes first. Like you see here, purple player is going and trying to construct the pyramids, but I've almost finished the pyramids. So if my pyramids finish first, the purple player's pyramids will actually destruct. Like, it's basically self-destruct. In fact, here, we can watch it happen in real time. See? I've got them already built. I've got way more citizens around it, and it's almost being finished. The moment mine finishes, you can only have 1 of each unique wonder around the place. So the second mine gets completed, theirs will actually just get this. See? It's like, no, you can't build it. Screw you. Ha ha, little baby wee wee man. I own pyramids now. You don't. Go cry about it. That kind of thing. Yeah, so basically, now that you know how building wonders works, I'm going to go and cover some of the bonuses that the wonders can provide you, because some of them are like, oh, that's kind of neat. Like the pyramids go and they increase the amount of make your city limit increase by 1, so you can go and build another city. It also, as you can see from me just clicking on it, when it goes and increases your maximum number, like your commerce limit for wealth and food, and by 50, and also it improves the rate that your food gatherers gather food, in other words, your farms, and also potentially fish. But there's no fish on this map because we're playing in the Amazon rainforest. Anyway, what does it mean by commerce limit? Well, this here, you see, is me, what I'm gathering, how much resources I'm gathering. My numbers are stupidly high here because I'm at a really high age, and on top of that, at the latest age you can get to in the game, I also have people gathering stuff all over the place, and on top of that, I have heaps of wonders increasing the amount of stuff you would gather, and I have nearly every single research in the game making all of my stuff super duper efficient. And you might be thinking, okay, so geez, the pyramids, is that kind of an overpowered wonder? No, the pyramids is baby's wonder in this game. You can get even better wonders, like this one over here, the Colossus. It may not seem that important, but this thing kicks ass. This thing increases your population by 50. And it also increases your wealth rate by 30%. So that means that all the money you're gathering in this game, which can be used as markets, by the way. This is a market. You can buy and trade resources here. This is basically going to represent a kind of crappy version of the stock market in game. You can basically use the market to go and sell stuff for wealth. If I were to click here, I can sell my wood for wealth, although I'm not really sure why I need to do that because I have way more wealth than I have wood. Or you can do stuff like you can sell the oil I have for more wealth, and then you can use like the wealth to buy other things in general. Yeah, it works like that. And in other wonders like the Eiffel Tower go and provide you with way more oil It just increases your oil income. So if you want to build tanks and stuff, you build the Eiffel Tower. Not sure how that equates to real life at all, but some things in this game don't really make sense. I'm thinking, okay, so those seem like pretty important wonders, cheese. They the overpowered ones? Still no. Some of the most overpowered ones in the game is this one, the Super Collider. This makes it so that markets are locked to only being able to go up and down so much. Like if I could just move over it, the Super Collider makes it so that the cost to buy goods at a market is never higher than 125 gold and is never lower than 50 gold. Basically, it's locking the market in place. Like, you see here? If I were to sell the oil, normally the oil would be worth way less, because what the game actually does is it calculates everything on the market, and it calculates how much stuff you have, and it's either calculating it based on whatever resources you have the most of, or however many resources all the players have. So the more valuable things like wood here actually sell for more, because everyone's probably got a shit ton of food, probably way more than me. So that's why the price of food is so low. It's basically just baby's first economics here. But the Super Collider locks that in place and makes it so that you can never go above and below certain amounts, which is really useful when trading and buying the things you want with gold. Like, let's say I want to build a huge army and suddenly low on food. Well, I can use my massive amount of gold to buy the food, and then I'll be able to build the army really quickly. That, and then another really overpowered wonder is this one right here, the space program. So what it does is it makes it so that you're immune to the effects of nuclear embargo. What is nuclear embargo? Well, let me just go really quickly and get this bunch of citizens, and we're going to go over here, and we're going to build a couple of missile silos, just right here. And then once we're done building the missile silos, I am going to go and construct a nuclear missile or two. Okay, so now here we are, ready to show the effects of the thing I was talking about. So the missile silos are built, and they're all loaded with missiles. That there's a cruise missile, that there's the nuclear one, and I'm going to show you them off. So let's say you didn't like what the enemy has, this here auto plant. You could be like, oh, screw your auto plant, I'm launching a cruise missile at you. And then you can also go down like, you know what, screw your temple too, I'm launching a cruise missile at that too. I'm also going to rebuild another cruise missile once that's full. And you're going to be able to watch the missile kind of fly over, sort of in real time. Okay, there you can see it, even though I can't see this part of the map. And it's going to land. And, oh, okay, so it looks like it almost blew up the thing. And in general, when it comes to this kind of stuff, you can see there, I just took down, it was hard to see on the screen, but I just took down the enemy thingamajiggy. And no one really cares when you go over to the market. You can see you can still buy stuff here. But if you were to get a bit more drastic and launch one of these babies, if you went and launched the nuclear missile, which is much more devastating, we're actually going to just launch it willy-nilly at this city, because it will reveal a bit of the map as well. And we're just going to hope we get lucky and see what we hit. Lots of stuff, apparently. The citizens, they were destroyed, and all those buildings were destroyed. So yeah, now if we go back to the market, you can see I have to wait that much amount of time, because this is the equivalent of basically a lot of powers around the world being like, you really have to launch that? You really have to do that? I mean, we're kind of not that okay with cruise missiles, but at least it's not that, what you just launched, so that's how it works. Yet the space program makes you immune to it. That makes it so that the entire like effect you're just seeing there with the market being locked off does not affect you, which is really useful when you build an army. I actually used one tactic in the game when I didn't have the space program, and I went and just did not go and launch any nukes in a game, because I was like, I want to still use my market, thank you very much. And it was actually a really good tactic. Now I've shown that. What about the Super Collider? What else can it do? Because going and making the market values locked is not its only power. It also makes it so that technologies can be researched instantaneously, but not unit technologies. That means if there's an upgrade for one of your units, let's say I can build an even better anti-aircraft missile jeep, then that wouldn't get researched instantly. But when it comes to other things, like the technologies in the library, oh boy, yeah, they can be researched instantly, no problem there. In fact, these technologies right here are kind of overpowered. They are future technologies, and they are what you unlock once you've researched all the previous technologies in the technology tree. They are as follows. You've got missile shield, which makes it so that enemies cannot launch missiles at you, nuclear missiles or cruise missiles. This one is world government. It makes it so that all victory timers, city assimilations, and enemy capital eliminations are instantaneous, meaning you can just capture a city real quick. This one makes it so that units are produced instantly, and this one allows you to build stealth bombers. So I'm going to research this one first, artificial intelligence, and boom. It's instantly researched, just there and then, because of my super collider. And now you can actually see it in action. So you see here how it took, normally it would take a little while to build a missile. Boom, done. If I want a nuke, boom, done. Also, if I want helicopters, boom, done. In fact, you know what? I'm going to show this in work, at work, basically getting me an army real quick as soon as I build a few barracks and stuff. Okay, all done. Thanks to my future technology, this little army didn't take long to build at all because I just built a few producing buildings, and then I built the stuff. So let's go. In general, when it comes to capturing a city, and the reason why the instant capture thing is so good is because to capture a city, you need to first reduce it down to 0 health, then you need to move some military units there, and it can't be tanks, it has to be infantry, and then once that's done, then you're finally able to go and capture the city, and then you have to wait for a timer to tick down. So let me first just go and blow up this fortress because it's in the way and it's protecting the city, and it's shooting all my men. So right there you can see, reduced capture with infantry. So it's basically telling me, hey genius, stop shooting the city with your artillery. It's not going to do anything. You need to move your soldiers in. In fact, the soldiers are now close enough. And now you can see the city is slowly assimilating. It's like going 7%, 8%. But we're going to be like, no, I'm bored. And then we research that, and instantly the city is just turned into ours. In fact, now it's slowly just healing because we have got the city under our control, and the second a city like this is not shot, it will instantly heal. Also, I don't know why my bazooka dudes walked in there because they got bombed with my own artillery. I am not going to count myself at fault for that. My men were just too gung-ho. And yeah, you can see in general why this is so good, because now, thanks to the artificial intelligence, okay, this city might be burning, but I'm just going to create like 3 citizens and immediately order them to fix and repair the city, because once this thing gets above, gets a bit more health, I read the game before said that I have to go and get a city with around about, it can't be like 90% damage, so once it gets more health, I'm then going to be able to garrison my citizens in here, and already doing something like this will help you win wars in the game, because if you've got citizens now garrisoned in the city, and the enemy comes to attack you, you can ungarrison the citizens behind the city and get them to repair it while the enemy is still trying to shoot you. And on top of that, you're also going to be able to shoot the enemy as they come in. So like this is basically going to act as like a little piece of fortification to shoot the enemies. Like this flamethrower dude there, if I have my citizens inside, he would be getting shot by the city. So that's why instantaneous capital assimilations and stuff like that are so good in the game. The nuclear missile shield thingamajiggy, I'm not actually going to research that one right now, because there isn't really much of a need to research it, because the enemy doesn't seem to be launching many missiles at me. But the good thing it also does is it makes the Armageddon counter go up by 2. It's basically a counter that makes it so that people in the game can't go nuke mad, and it's there basically, if that goes down to 0, everyone loses the game, and the world is basically declared Fallout-style nuclear wasteland, and oh no, you've basically reenacted what happened in the Fallout games when the post-apocalypse came. Congratulations, you played yourself and everyone. That's basically what's meant to be happening. So that's what the instantaneous capital simulation thingamajiggy gets you. What about the green one? Because that is also ridiculously overpowered. Global prosperity. First of all, what it does is it increases your production by 25 across the board. For everything, 25%. So you just suddenly, all of a sudden, are producing much more everything, including knowledge, which you need scholars for, which actually is vital to research this stuff in the first place. We're going to research the last one as well. And what it also gets you is stealth bombers, which is the reason why I built airports kind of close to the enemy. In fact, we're probably going to build another airport closer to the enemy, and go and research stealth bombers there. And oh boy, are you going to see just how ridiculously overpowered stealth bombers are. In fact, we're going to build the airport right next to this city to make it even closer and make sure the enemy just has a horrible, horrible time. So once stealth bombers are done researching, I will then put a cut back in the video so you can just see how utterly unfair they are. Okay, here we are after the cut, and I mean, the enemy actually beat me to it, and they are now going and showing just how stupidly overpowered the stealth bombers are. At least they were for a moment. Pretty much how stealth bombers work, and here's one in action here. You can see it. In fact, I'll just send it over to the enemy, and I'm gonna go and make it attack that SAM site over there. And you might be thinking in your head, wait a minute, getting a plane to attack a SAM site, isn't that kind of suicide? Not for a stealth bomber. See? It's able to just willy-nilly go and just bomb anything at once that's ground-to-air defense without a care in the world. Because I don't know what the game designers were thinking when they made this thing. It is genuinely this thing right here, the stealth bomber. It has made me rage quit the game multiple times. Because you might be thinking, okay, it's just one plane. It isn't that bad, is it? The enemy like to do this. Yeah, that's what they like to do. And like, you know what? They don't just go, oh, we're just gonna do it with one airport. No, 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 no. They like, send everything. Like that one meme of the guy just screaming, everything! I'm gonna probably include it in the video right here.
I told you. Benny. Bring me everyone. What do you mean everyone? Everyone!
But yeah, and then the AI, since it's able to just willy-nilly control everything like I'm doing here, will be just like, oh, oopsie, everything you got. I guess I'm bombing it. Ooh, sorry, is that a tank you have there? Oh, it's dead. Stealth bombers, though, are much better at just destroying buildings. But, yeah, now imagine how annoying this can get when this nonsense is coming at you and it's destroying one of your wonders. Because, in fact, that was the stealth bomber getting destroyed. That's why I have fighter planes here. That's why I've got, like, super advanced fighter planes. Because, thanks to the enemy stealth bombers, I now have to keep the fighter planes around here constantly on patrol, because every single one of the SAM sites I built, and also my thingamajiggies right here, my anti-aircraft missile defense things, are no longer useful. They're just, like, completely obsolete, because they can't shoot down anything, like, so is the enemy stuff here. Which is why I wish I could play the game with a mod that disabled stealth bombers. Yes, they are actually just that ludicrous in my opinion. And now, can you imagine how unfair we get with stealth bombers if you also had the space program enabled? So all of a sudden, you could see the entire map and you knew exactly what you were sending your stealth bombers at. And if I'm not selling you on how just ludicrously unfair and overpowered the stealth bombers are, think about this. The stealth bombers, since they're ignoring all your anti-aircraft, they are now making you waste population on fighter planes to fight back against the stealth bombers. Like, honestly, holy shit, just thinking about that makes me a little angry. Now that I've basically covered how unfair stealth bombers are, we are now going to go and actually just completely quit this game here, because I've shown it off enough. And now I've explained how the endgame research, like the advanced research works. I'm going to cover the Conquer the World campaign, because wonders in that version of the game function a little bit differently. So we're just going to click Conquer the World here. We're going to click Entire World. We're going to start a new campaign. We're going to randomize these things, because that's how I roll. We're going to pick the Americans, and then we're going to just start the game. And then the reason why I picked them, by the way, is because they start off with the bonus Wonder of the World card. So that's actually the same team I was playing before in that match just there with the stealth bombers. I was also playing the Americans. And one of the reasons why I like picking them is because when it comes to the regular game, one of their nation powers is that the first wonder you build, the first wonder your citizen just frankly just touches, like they'll just be basically like, nah, and they'll just touch it with a hammer, and the wonder will instantly be built as if you got a cheat code, but it's not actually a cheat code, it's just actually baked into the game. The Americans got that in a regular match, but when it comes to Conquer the World, they have built Wonder Card. And these cards basically, this is a little bit like a Risk-esque game, where you can go and you can play the cards in different territories. Their Build Wonder Card will let you go and, right from the get-go of the game, build a wonder. Right, we click here and do it. You can see there's nothing that enables us, like, there's nothing we can build, but that's because in the first age of the game here, the Ancient Age, there's no wonders to be built. In the actual game, when you're playing it as well, in non-Conquer the World mode, you can't build wonders like that either. So we're going to do the stupid thing here, and we're just going to click next turn, because I don't want to go and wait for all the other civilized teams here to go and to play an entire match conquering these little unclaimed neutral territories that are super easy to claim. So, now that we've got the wonder card, we can click here, and we get a bunch of wonders to choose from. We can build the Colossus, we can build the Pyramids, and we can build the Hanging Gardens. And these are out of the get-go, as I mentioned before in the game, when I was playing, are baby's first wonder. So I already explained what the Pyramids do. The Colossus I didn't cover, but it increases your population by a whopping 50, which is very overpowered for any game match you want to play. And the Hanging Gardens increases your knowledge production by 50, and also upgrades on the lumber mill and smelter production are discounted by 66%. So we're going to choose the Colossus here, and we're going to build it, and the game's going to be like, congratulations, you built a wonder. The reason why the wonders can be so overpowered in Conquer the World mode is because, now see here, that's the wonder icon on my home city in Germany, because I picked random starting locations. Normally you'd actually start off in actual America if you're playing as the Americans, like, you know, over here. But yeah, in general, how it works is that unless the enemy attacks me here on my home turf, the Colossus won't actually be present. So if it's not present, that means they can't go and destroy it at all. So that means that you should be able to go and get its bonuses with whatever match you play on in different territories. For example, if I were to go over and try and conquer the Persians over here in Holland, that is so ridiculous, then I'd be able to get my Colossus bonus when I was fighting them as soon as I research, I think, level 4 civics. That's usually how it works. That's when your wonder stuff will activate. So, now I've covered building wonders and how they affect the game and how they're very hard to kill unless you actually go and kill them. We're going to quit this one. Yes, this one. Operation White Dawn, ready to build the space program. So basically what I've done here is I've skipped a turn, and I've gotten to the last age in the game. This has only recently happened, the Information Age. That's the age I was playing in before with the stealth bombers, by the way. It's like one after World War II. It's modern era, and then has a bit of future technologies afterwards. You can now see that if I just scroll over in my heaps with the heaps of cards that I have, I do in fact have a Wonder of the World card. The idea in my head was, okay, I'm gonna wait and keep a Wonder card spare so that when I get to the Information Age, I'm instantly able to build the Super Collider. And then once I build the Super Collider, I'm gonna place it on a territory that's really hard to get to, like this one here, since it's actually an enemy capital territory. Or even better, you know what? Yeah, I was thinking I might even build it in Australia. It would be really hard to get to. Also, it tends to be that placing wonders in your capital territory is a great idea as well. And then also other places really inaccessible, bottom of Africa. That's another great place to build a wonder. But enough about building locations. The Super Collider, when I actually built it in a test run I had of this Conquer the World game, it didn't really work out that well. And the reason it didn't really work out that well is because I didn't know it, but when it comes to Conquer the World, you actually aren't able to research the future technology. So that means no nuclear defense shield for missiles, no stealth bombers, no instantaneous capital assimilations, and no AI, which means you can't instantly build the units really fast and churn them out. So that's why I thought, okay. In that case, the Super Collider is kind of missing half of the reason it should exist in the first place. Because one thing about the Super Collider is that its instantly researching technologies perk doesn't actually kick in until you've reached civic level 4, like the blue tech tree for building more cities. So because of that, I was like, what's the next best wonder we can potentially build? And that answer was, okay, I think it's the space program, which is I'm actually going to build right now. So basically, now thanks to me having the space program built in the bottom of Africa, right next to Madagascar. Holy shit, this makes no sense. Perfect launching place, I know. Any fight we now fight against enemy teams, I'll basically be able to go and attack the enemy willy-nilly and have the entire map revealed. In fact, you know what? That there's the enemy's capital, and apparently at war with the Turks right now. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sabotage their place, and I'm going to take it over with treachery card. And then I'm going to place my new army right here, and you know what? Since there's a new army, and I could just move it over and... Aww. Aww, I have to wait a turn. Okay, maybe the enemy will attack me, because even if they attack me, that doesn't really matter, because... Oh, they didn't. That's surprising. Wait. Why can't I... Oh, crap. I forgot. What I ended up doing was I basically went and I bribed the Turks saying, don't attack me for 3 turns, and I have to wait for 3 turns to pass before I can actually attack them. Well, that sucks. Yep, so I guess we're just waiting 3 turns because everyone else is kind of at peace with me, and they're all kind of just fighting each other. So don't worry, this isn't going to take that much time because I can just click on the next turn button. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, so Japanese actually decided, you know what, we want to attack you, and they're attacking me right here. I don't really care since I'm going to just begin the defense, and now you can see the space program thingamajiggy in works. So you can see there, instantly know where the enemy city is. Hold on a minute, this is not the right kind of match I was thinking of. This is the one where you have to go and kill 25 enemy units. Sometimes it's not a regular conquest match. I'm just gonna go and beat this thing, and then we're gonna show off what it looks like when you're in an actual game against the enemy. Okay, so here we are after the cut, like I mentioned, fought off the enemy defensive. Now we can actually go and attack the enemy capital. I am going to face a bunch of enemies there, but I mean, we have cards we can play, but I'm also gonna play some of these bonus cards to get bonus food and stuff like that. Looks like I will need level 4 civics in order to unlock the space program, but trust me. Wait, in fact, you know what? I'm gonna put another cut in here, and I'm gonna get back to you once I have unlocked that, so you can just kind of see the entire map light up. Okay, so here we are after the cut, and as you can see, the entire map is now visible. My scouts actually had found out a lot of it, but the great thing about the space program is that now I'm able to keep tabs on the enemy whenever I want, and I can like see, for example, this scout I know is coming kind of closer to my land, so like I can get my citizens into partisan mode and just order them to shoot him on the way in. But the main point is the space program is really great for scouting because now I know that my army here is definitely bigger than the enemies, so I can kind of just rush over there and take over their uranium deposit because if I do that, then if you click on it, the special resource will actually tell you that it's really good for building nuclear missiles. See, it actually makes them 10% faster, and by that it means they'll like fly faster, and it also makes them a bit cheaper. And now I know also that the enemy is coming in, and that well, I mean, I've already kind of like captured the city, or I will pretty soon. So that means that, again, I've got an advantage here because I know I can kind of just sit in place and let the enemy come towards me piecemeal because look, the artillery is like, it's shooting the city and I'm like, well, I mean, this was your city, you're shooting it, you're kind of just, you're playing yourself. And I also know I can just sit right here and take what they have, whereas if I didn't have the entire map revealed, I might be a little anxious about what the enemy has, but since I have the entire map revealed, I just know that the stuff they have is not as good. But yeah, again, just using that prior knowledge of the thing to know that I can get nuclear missiles whenever I want. They'll also be cheaper, so because of that, I'm just going to build a couple nuclear silos. Now that I've basically shown how the space program wonder can be really useful in the Conquer the World scenario, especially since, like, I found that uranium deposit there, and I'm going to claim it any moment now. What I wanted to mention next is that Super Collider Wonder could actually be really, really useful and really unfair towards the enemy if you go and you couple it with the Space Program Wonder and you kind of use them both side by side. Because here's in general the tactic I was thinking of in my head. So you know how before I mentioned that the Super Collider Wonder will go and it will make it so that the market prices are locked so that they can't go down or up that much? Well, what you can potentially then do is, like, you get this base I have here with the missile in it. In fact, you know what? I'm just going to launch it at the enemy army and see if they get out of the way in time. I don't think they're going. They didn't. Oh, you know what? I also just figured out, kinda. I mean, since I blew up their army, they're not going to rebuild it quick enough, so it's time to just rush the city and attempt to take it over. Yeah, so pretty much the idea I had in my head is, okay, since you can just go and immediately see all the map once you've researched high enough civics with the Space Program Wonder, and then since it prevents nuclear embargo, like, I can still buy everything. What you can then do is buy the get the Super Collider Wonder as well, making it so that all your library research is instant, because it will still do that, because every single new conquer the world match you start off with, like every time you go to a new territory, it pretty much a new game. It isn't carrying over from what happened before. So that'll mean you'll be able to research all your library technologies really quickly. You'll be able to ignore the effects of nuclear embargo. You'll be able to go utterly bonkers with the nukes, build way too many, launch them at everything, as long as you don't go past the Armageddon counter and ruin the game. By the way, I don't know what happens when you get an Armageddon game over when you're in a territory because you're trying to conquer the territory. And I mean, I don't know what happens if you make the entire Conquer the World game over through doing that. But yeah, in general, that was the idea I had in my head. Get Super Collider Wonder and make a really unfair combo with the space program and it, based on the advantages you get from the Super Collider Wonder. However, that is not the only unfair advantage you can come up with here, because another thing you could potentially do if you get it is the Hidden City Wonder. You know how before I said that the Hidden City Wonder made it so that you could just go and your city wouldn't show up on the main map before in the previous game? Yeah, well, the Hidden City actually makes it so that the capital timer here is halved. So this here is basically a death countdown for the enemy, where if they don't go and they don't recapture their capital in a short enough amount of time, then they are straight up going to lose this match right here. And I'm going to make it even harder for them by nuking their stuff. Yeah, just why not? Shoot one at the wood producing place as well, and the single soldier who's guarding me is not going to have a good day. But that pretty much covers it for this video and the unfair tactic I want to show off here. Honestly, what I suggest is go ahead, play this game mode, play Conquer the World, play it yourself, and see what other really unfair combinations you can come up with when it comes to building multiple wonders and just stacking their bonuses on top of each other in different, really hard to get to territories, especially places like the bottom of South America and also Australia.